Big changes are ahead to help report, track, and investigate cancer clusters here in Indiana and across the country. 13 Investigates first told you about gaps in our state registry and why a group of Johnson County mothers joined a national fight for sick kids.
Well, tonight, our investigative reporter Sandra Chapman shows us how a combination of historic new laws will address chemicals, cancer, and the safety of our children going forward.
Victory laps for Johnson County kids fighting cancer.
It's an amazing opportunity.
From leading the parade in Indiana.
It's been an answer to prayer for us.
To historic change in Washington, D.C.
We are putting a law in place that's going to protect American families, protect children with regard to chemicals.
A new federal law to regulate chemicals in and near homes, schools, and in new products is just a signature away. It's the first major overhaul of the Toxic Substances Control Act in 40 years. And right along with it,
a cancer cluster provision was added to the bill.
We're so excited.
New screening standards to help investigate suspected cancer clusters, like the 30 children 13 Investigates discovered last November, diagnosed with blood and brain cancers, all living within a 25-mile radius in Johnson County.
There are so many kids, and the rise of pediatric cancer is crazy right now.
We fought. We got that into this bill, Trevor's Law.
We first told you about Trevor's Law in March.
I want to welcome Trevor Schaefer.
Childhood cancer survivor Trevor Schaefer of Idaho was on a mission to get Congress to change the arbitrary process of investigating suspected cancer clusters. When he and other kids in his community got sick, health officials called it insignificant. When he saw what 13 Investigates uncovered, he invited these Johnson County mothers to help him push for change.
We're so lucky to be a part of that.
Under Trevor's Law, Health and Human Services would create guidelines to investigate potential cancer clusters, including the time frame over which the cancers occurred. In the Johnson County cases, state health officials spread out their analysis for sick kids over 13 years, instead of focusing on the years in question. And while the National Cancer Institute showed pediatric cancer rates in Johnson County higher than the state and national averages, the state health department reported a lower rate.
They didn't have to follow any protocol. They didn't have to provide answers, and they didn't have to look deeper into what issues we are seeing.
Trevor's Law will force all states to categorize data the same way and will funnel it into a national database.
It's something that I want to champion.
Congressman Andre Carson pledged his support months ago. Both Indiana senators and the state's entire congressional delegation also voted yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there's more. The state of Indiana is now taking some action of its own on the heels of our investigation. We discovered a 2-year gap in the state's cancer registry. Doctors are required to report new cancer diagnoses each year, but state health investigators could not use those reports to immediately identify or investigate current spikes. Investigations could only be triggered by public requests.
Please contact us at the State Department of Health so that we can investigate further.
In July, that will change. Indiana lawmakers voted to explicitly allow the agency to use its own registry for cancer investigations.
And we're going to know there's a problem quicker.
Trevor's Law, along with this law, starting in July, is going to be huge for the state of Indiana.
For a group of mothers desperate for answers, victories in a fight for better cancer investigations.
Absolutely. We deserve that. Our kids deserve that. Definitely a step in the right direction.
We told you we would be back. We're back, and it's time.
Now, the State Department of Health declined to comment on the federal legislation, which, by the way, started when the late Senator Frank Lautenberg of New Jersey asked 12 Democrats and 12 Republicans to sit down and get to work. What followed was a unanimous vote in the Senate and overwhelming support in the House, with just 12 members of Congress voting against it. Again, it's awaiting the president's signature.